Continuing on vendor due diligence, let's do a quick one to see what kind of vendors are critical for us. In fact, we'll first check based on who are the vendors, in which cases they are critical, and where should we start with. Create a small checklist of which scenarios demand a vendor due diligence. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on data privacy. And as I said, let's talk about scenarios where you actually need a vendor due diligence. So, who are your vendors? Right? As per the Indian DPDP Act 2023, a third party who is handling personal data on your behalf is a vendor. That means that if you have outsourced someone to collect data for you, they are your vendors. You might have just taken their CRM software, for example, a very small example, right? To create a database. Of course, you will use CRM in future for more purposes, but the moment you hook onto it and provide that interface to the world for collecting their personal data, the CRM provider becomes your vendor, right? Even in the situation where you stand at the airport and you see that there's a company saying sir credit card, and they're collecting your personal information, and that information gets digitized at some stage. So that's also an outsourced vendor activity, right? Because the DPDP Act says digital data. So payroll, tech providers, marketing agencies, IT support companies, business process outsourcings, and CRM and SaaS providers. Anyone who is handling your customers, your principals' personal data on your behalf, whether it's collecting, storing, using, sharing with further third parties, or deleting, then they are your processors, and whatever they do with this personal data, you are responsible for it, right? Especially in some cases, cloud service provider, another example, especially in some very important cases where you have sensitive personal data. For example, you are a healthcare and you have an outsourced lab. So you send samples there for testing. You don't just send samples only. You have to send the patient details, right? Same is the case that when the report gets generated, now your patient's health information is with that lab. Important. And further, if that lab sends the report to the patient by courier, then it's further you have a subcontract. So you have sensitive data being shared or being generated for you, in this case because the lab is doing tests for you, and being further outsourced to a courier agency. So due diligence is very important in both cases, both for the lab as well as for the agency deployed to send the data further. Data leaving India. So if you have any situation where your data leaves the country, and we call that concept as cross-border data transfer, then it is again a sensitive thing. It is important. And vendors who further sub-process it. Like in the first example, I said that you are sub-processing it, a part of it, right? But there could be a possibility that there are some specialized labs. I know a situation here where I meet a eye doctor and he does all the tests, large machines inside his own lab. But there are a few tests for which he recommends another doctor, and only for the test. It's an eye lab only, right? So, in case you can say that despite the fact that you are already in a lab, some of the tests these lab cannot do, and there is a specialized lab that does only those tests. So it goes in a flow, and you have already given it to a subprocessor, and that subprocessor further gives it to another sub or sub-subprocessor. So due diligence becomes very important, right? Due diligence becomes critical in this situation because sensitive data leaving the country, or multiple processors or sub-processors are involved. So you need to be very sure about the personal data collected on your behalf. So quick checklist. Is your vendor accessing personal data? You would say, I said that yesterday also, and in this example also, you are IT service provider. He's taken the laptop for formatting it. Data is in the laptop. You might say, I've already formatted it. Well, but he can recover out of it, right? Regenerate. If not 100%, even if he regenerates and misuses one record, it is a record and could be your own personal pictures, by the way. What type of data is he accessing, normal or sensitive? Sensitive data, then the due diligence is very, very critical. Are they storing this data or are they transmitting this data? So if you are using only a vendor whose job is only transmitting data for you, only a small platform. Maybe you say I upload here from here to a cloud service provider, and there you download it from that cloud service provider. So that cloud service provider has the data. So it becomes important. Do they have access to full records or is it partial? And if they have access to full records, or if they plan to, or you plan to give them access to full records, well, again, the same issue. And finally, are there any sub vendors involved? If there are sub vendors involved, then it's a longer chain. No, you need a team of people in your organization doing only due diligence, right? So I hope this quick video could help you understand situations where due diligence becomes very, very important. If it does, please press the like icon, bell icon, subscribe to the channel for more similar informative things about data privacy. And if you have still questions on this video or any other thing that you want me to cover, please share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.